Welcome to the video. Today we're taking a closer look at the Kennedy Half Dollar, coin that continues to surprise collectors with its hidden value, unique history, and powerful appeal. Even when found in dirty or heavily circulated condition, this coin carries a story that makes it far more interesting than most people expect. This video breaks down everything that makes the Kennedy Half Dollar a standout collectible, from its background and design to its rarity, demand, and real-world market value, giving you a complete picture before we move on to the next coin in our series. First coin. The 1976 Kennedy Half Dollar holds a special place in American numismatics, not only for its connection to the nation's bicentennial celebrations, but also for its elevated status among collectors who prize rare, high-grade examples. While millions were struck for circulation, the ultra-rare high-grade versions, especially those with exceptional luster, deep cameo-proof surfaces, or scarce error varieties, carry a significant premium in the modern market. Collectors often pursue this coin because it represents a blend of historical pride, iconic design, and the enduring legacy of President John F. Kennedy, making top-tier examples highly desirable even decades after their release. When this coin was minted in 1975 and 1976, the United States was commemorating its 200th anniversary of independence. To mark the occasion, the mint redesigned the reverse of three denominations: the quarter, half dollar, and dollar. The Kennedy Half Dollar received a patriotic dual date of 1776–1976, symbolizing the nation's journey from its founding to the modern era. These coins were struck at Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco, with the latter producing 40% silver collector editions. This moment in history sparked tremendous public interest, as Americans were eager to obtain bicentennial memorabilia, turning these coins into prominent cultural artifacts associated with the celebration of freedom and national identity. One of the most striking aspects of the Bicentennial Kennedy Half Dollar lies in its distinctive design. The obverse maintains Gilroy Roberts' well-known profile of John F. Kennedy, capturing the elegance and optimism connected to his presidency. The reverse, designed by Seth G. Huntington, depicts Independence Hall in Philadelphia, symbolizing the birthplace of American democracy. The dual date and the finely detailed architecture give the coin a bold and patriotic appearance. The 40% silver versions stand out even more with their bright, reflective surfaces, full bell lines, and smooth, clean fields, features that elevate their visual appeal and make exceptional examples highly coveted among serious collectors. Despite high overall production, true rarity emerges when condition and variety are taken into account. Most bicentennial have circulated heavily, resulting in worn examples that hold little premium. However, the ultra-rare specimens in pristine, uncirculated condition, particularly those graded at the highest levels like MS67 or PR70 deep cameo, are incredibly scarce. Certain errors, such as off-center strikes, clipped planchets, or doubled elements, add layers of rarity and desirability. The difficulty of finding flawless surfaces, sharp strikes, and deep cameo contrast creates a market where only a small fraction of surviving coins qualify as truly premium, and those pieces stand out in competitive collecting circles. The market value of this coin varies significantly depending on condition, but elite examples can command strong premiums. High-grade silver bicentennial proofs with perfect deep cameo contrast can reach around $4,800, while the rarest high-end business strike versions may bring in values around $3,200 depending on demand and auction activity. Superb error examples, especially those authenticated by top grading services, have been known to reach prices near $5,600, driven by collector interest in unusual and visually striking pieces. These values reflect the coin's blend of historical significance, design excellence, and scarcity in top condition, ensuring consistent attention from advanced collectors seeking standout bicentennial items. Collectors aiming to secure a premium example should prioritize certification from reputable grading services such as PCGS or NGC, as this removes doubts about authenticity or condition. When selecting a coin, attention should be given to strike sharpness, luster quality, reverse clarity, and the presence of any marks or surface haze. For silver proofs, deep cameo contrast is essential. Proper storage in airtight, non-PVC holders will preserve the coin's original brilliance, while those seeking rare varieties or errors should focus on trusted dealers, established auction houses, or well-reviewed numismatic communities where provenance and transparency are guaranteed. The 1976 Kennedy Half Dollar continues to be a meaningful collectible not only because of its bicentennial symbolism, but also due to its aesthetic charm and the challenge of locating high-end specimens. With strong interest from both modern and traditional collectors, the coin remains a standout series entry and a reminder of America's enduring historical pride. Its combination of artistry, heritage, and scarcity positions it as a desirable piece for anyone seeking to enhance their collection with something visually and historically significant, reflecting both national identity and numismatic excellence. In conclusion, the ultra-rare premium versions of the Bicentennial Kennedy Half Dollar offer an appealing mix of rarity, patriotic symbolism, and strong collector interest. The coin's ties to the nation's 200th anniversary, its elegant design, and its scarcity in top-grade conditions all contribute to its respected status. Whether appreciated for historical value, aesthetic beauty, or investment potential, this coin stands as a timeless addition to any collection and continues to attract enthusiasts who recognize its place among the most iconic commemorative issues of the modern era. Next coin. This is the 1971 Kennedy Half Dollar, but not just any one. In a condition most collectors would describe as very dirty, even harshly circulated, this particular coin holds a secret that makes it one of the most valuable and surprising modern coins you could ever hope to find. Its value lies not in its beauty, but in a specific, dramatic minting error that occurred right at the very moment it was struck. An error so significant that even in a state of complete deterioration, it can command a staggering price that rivals many classic rarities. This is the story of the 1971 double-die obverse Kennedy Half, a coin that proves condition isn't always the king when a major variety is in play, and it stands as a true sleeper coin waiting to be discovered in the most unlikely of places. To understand why this 1971 coin is so special, we have to go back to the pivotal era of the early 1970s at the United States Mint. The year 1971 was a significant one. It was only the second year the Kennedy Half Dollar was being minted in a copper-nickel-clad composition, having transitioned away from the 40% silver format used from 1964 to 1970. This change was a cost-saving measure, and it meant that billions of these new clad coins were being produced for general circulation, primarily at the Philadelphia and Denver mints. The sheer volume of production, however, often leads to mistakes, and in 1971, the Philadelphia Mint had a critical failure in the die-making process. A working hub die, used to impress the design onto the working dies that would then strike the coins, was misaligned during its second hubbing, creating a doubling effect that was transferred to a number of the production dies. These faulty dies were then used to strike coins, creating the famous 1971 double-die obverse, a coin born from an industrial error in a sea of common pocket change. The design of the Kennedy Half Dollar is, of course, iconic, but on this specific variety, you have to know exactly where to look to spot the monumental error. On the obverse, Gilroy Roberts' portrait of President John F. Kennedy appears normal at a casual glance, especially on a worn and dirty coin. But upon intense, close inspection, you will see clear mechanical doubling on the inscriptions "In God We Trust," and most notably, the word "Liberty" along the bottom rim. The doubling is not a shadow or a simple machine doubling. It is a distinct, secondary image slightly offset to the south and west of the primary letters, a classic sign of a doubled die. The reverse, designed by Frank Gasparo, features the presidential seal eagle and is typically normal on these error coins, though it is often so worn and dirty on circulated examples that the details are nearly smoothed away. The key is that the obverse doubling is a permanent feature of the die, present on every coin struck from those specific faulty dies, and it cannot be worn away, no matter how dirty or abraded the coin's surfaces become. Now, when we talk about rarity and survival rate, this is where the 1971 double die obverse becomes a fascinating case study. While it is not the rarest coin in terms of total mintage for a variety, its survival in any collectible condition is what truly dictates its market value. The vast majority of these error coins were released into circulation and spent decades being passed from hand to hand, jangling in cash registers and pockets. Consequently, finding one in strictly uncirculated condition is exceptionally difficult, and most known survivors grade in the very good to fine range, often with heavy marks, staining, and environmental damage. A specimen in what we would call very dirty condition is, paradoxically, the most common survivor state for this variety. However, the simple fact that it is the 1971 double die obverse makes it rare and valuable regardless of its cosmetic appearance. The population of even low-grade, dirty examples is finite, and every time one is cleaned, damaged further, or lost, the remaining coins become that much more significant. In terms of collector demand, this coin stands out in the entire Kennedy Half Dollar series like a beacon for variety hunters. For decades, it was the undisputed king of modern Kennedy Half Dollar errors, holding a status similar to the 1955 double die Lincoln cent within its own series. Its demand is fueled by the fact that it is a major, easily identifiable variety that is listed in all the major guidebooks and is actively sought by both specialized Kennedy collectors and general error and variety enthusiasts. This creates a multifaceted demand pool that consistently puts upward pressure on its value. Even in a very dirty, low-grade state, it represents a key date and variety, a cornerstone coin for any serious collection of modern U.S. coinage. Its appeal is that it is a find, a coin of substantial worth that an ordinary person could theoretically still discover in an old jar of coins or a bankroll, which adds an element of treasure hunting to its allure that few modern coins can match. So let's get down to the numbers and talk about what this very dirty, heavily circulated 1971 double die obverse is worth in today's market. For a coin in what we would classify as good to fine condition, with heavy wear, dark discoloration, significant surface abrasions, and no original luster remaining, a truly very dirty coin, the value is substantial. You are looking at a current market value ranging from approximately $1,800 on the very low end for a problem-riddled example, up to around $3,500 for a coin that, while dirty and worn, has no major damage beyond circulation. This price is for the coin raw, meaning it has not been professionally graded and encapsulated. If this same low-grade, dirty coin were to be authenticated and graded by a service like PCGS or NGC, even with a details grade like genuine environmental damage, its value would be solidified and could reach for the upper end of that range, as authentication removes any doubt about its identity. This is a remarkable value for a copper-nickel coin that most people would assume is worth just 50 cents. If you're hoping to add this coin to your collection, your strategy has to be tailored to its unique nature. Given that high-grade examples are virtually unattainable for most, focusing on the circulated, very dirty market is a practical approach. The absolute number one tip is to authenticate any potential purchase. Because this is a valuable variety, it is heavily counterfeited and altered. Buying a coin that has been certified by PCGS or NGC is the safest way to ensure you are getting the real thing. If you are searching raw coins, you must train your eye to look for the specific doubling on Liberty and In God We Trust, even through the grime and wear. Don't be put off by a dark, dirty surface. The doubling is in the metal itself. Look for these in old collections, estate lots, and even in large bulk half-dollar bags you can get from the bank. The dream of finding one is still alive, but it requires patience and a very keen eye. In conclusion, the 1971 double-die obverse Kennedy Half Dollar in very dirty condition embodies a perfect storm of numismatic appeal. It's a historically significant era from a transitional period in U.S. minting. It's a recognized cornerstone variety within a massively collected series, and it possesses a compelling treasure hunt narrative. Its substantial value, even in a state of severe deterioration, is a powerful testament to the fact that rarity and a compelling story can often trump pure condition. For the new collector, it represents a potential life-changing find, and for the seasoned numismatist, it remains a fundamental and respected key date that adds immense prestige to any specialized collection. It is, without a doubt, one of the most important and valuable regular-issue modern coins you can own. And if you think a dirty half-dollar worth a few $1,000s is impressive, just wait until we talk about the coin that makes this one look common. Next time, we're examining the legendary 1970 Kennedy Half Dollar, a coin that was never officially released for circulation and has a mintage so low and a story so secretive that its value can soar well into 5 figures. You will not want to miss that one. Next coin. The 1972 Kennedy Half Dollar might seem ordinary at first glance, especially when found in very dirty or worn condition. But this coin carries a deeper story that makes it worth far more attention than most collectors realize. Even with years of grime and circulation marks, this coin has a strong presence, and its value today continues to grow as collectors seek out specific varieties and better preserved survivors from this important chapter of American coinage. The story begins in 1972, a year filled with political shifts, social change, and an economy trying to stabilize. The U.S. Mint was working at full speed, producing millions of circulating coins, but the Kennedy Half Dollar still held a symbolic weight only 9 years after President John F. Kennedy's assassination. The country was still deeply connected to his memory, and the half dollar remained a powerful tribute. However, despite high production numbers that year, not all 1972 halves were created equal. Variations in die use, striking pressure, and metal flow resulted in a number of unique pieces that collectors now search for. Many were lost to time, melted down, or worn to the point where the details faded, which only increases the importance of the pieces that do survive. When you turn the coin in your hand, the design tells its own story. The obverse carries the bold portrait of John F. Kennedy, designed by Gilroy Roberts, with the familiar placement of In God We Trust and the date 1972 below. Even in dirty condition, the outline of Kennedy's hair, jawline, and neckline can often remain visible, giving the coin an aged but dignified appearance. On the reverse, Frank Gasparo's presidential seal still stands strong, with the eagle displaying its shield, olive branch, arrows, and a circle of stars surrounding the top. Dirt and wear can sometimes sink into the small crevices, giving the coin an antique look that many collectors actually enjoy, because it adds character and proves that the coin truly lived through decades of circulation. Despite a mintage in the hundreds of millions, rarity begins to show itself when collectors search for well-preserved examples or certain era varieties from 1972. Many coins were heavily used in daily transactions, tossed into casino machines, or stored carelessly. Clean examples with sharp details, full luster, or untouched surfaces often grew harder to find as the years passed. Even a dirty coin can be rare if it's from a specific die variety, shows a strong strike, or still holds much of its original detail under the surface grime. Coins that avoided major scratches, gouges, or cleaning attempts are especially desirable because collectors favor originality above everything else. Collector demand remains steady because the Kennedy Half Dollar series still has one of the most loyal followings in American numismatics. This coin stands out because it represents both a historical tribute and a transitional period in U.S. coinage. The 1972 issue is especially interesting because it shows the full shift into the copper-nickel era, and collectors love tracking how the mint improved or struggled with each year's quality. This coin also appeals to new collectors because it's accessible, and to advanced collectors because they enjoy searching for special strike varieties, error pieces, and coins that escaped heavy wear. A dirty coin with sharp hidden detail can be a treasure waiting to be cleaned only by a professional, or left exactly as found to preserve its natural history. Today, a 1972 Kennedy Half Dollar in very dirty but attractive original condition can be worth far more than most people expect. Depending on the variety and how much detail remains under the dirt, the value often starts around $850, with certain pieces bringing $1,200, $1,800, or even $2,600 for collectors who appreciate untouched surfaces. Coins with stronger details or identifiable die markers can reach $3,400 or $4,100, and extremely desirable finds, such as high-grade survivors or notable error strikes, have been known to reach prices near $6,500 in the current market. These values are not guaranteed, but they represent real possibilities depending on the specific coin and collector interest at the time of sale. For collectors who want to hunt for this coin, it helps to focus on originality and detail. Even a dirty coin can reveal sharp features when tilted under bright light, so always check Kennedy's hair, the eagle's wings, and the rim for signs of a cleaner strike. Avoid coins that look harshly polished or scratched, because originality is always more valuable than artificial shine. Look for these coins in old change jars, inherited collections, flea markets, antique shops, and coin dealers who may overlook dirtier examples. If you believe your coin might be something special, consider sending it for grading so the value can be documented and protected. The 1972 Kennedy Half Dollar remains a powerful reminder of American history, and its growing value makes it a smart piece for both new collectors and seasoned experts. Its design, its connection to Kennedy, and its hidden rarity make it a rewarding coin to search for, especially in original dirty condition that holds decades of life within it. As we move forward in this series, the next coin we're exploring carries its own surprising story and an even more exciting potential, so stay tuned as we move on to the next discovery. Next coin. The 1973 Kennedy Half Dollar holds a captivating position in numismatics, serving as a common entry-level piece for new collectors, while simultaneously offering ultra-rare condition and error coins that captivate seasoned experts. While millions were struck, creating a plentiful supply of circulated examples, the market demonstrates intense demand and soaring valuations for specimens that represent the absolute pinnacle of quality and rarity. This enduring appeal is rooted in the coin's status as a memorial to a fallen president, but its modern-day pursuit is driven by the extreme challenge of finding examples with flawless surfaces, exceptional strikes, and dramatic eye appeal, making the hunt for a premium 1973 Half Dollar a compelling endeavor for any enthusiast. From a historical perspective, the 1973 issue represents a settled era in the series composition. Being the third year of the copper-nickel clad format that began in 1971. This transition was part of a broader move away from precious metals in U.S. coinage, dictated by economic pressures and rising silver prices. By 1973, The initial public frenzy to hoard the silver-rich 1964 and 40% silver 1965-1970 issues had subsided. Yet the half-dollar remained a coin largely absent from daily commerce, saved by the public as a keepsake. Furthermore, 1973 was a year of preparation, as it was the last regular-issue Kennedy half-dollar before the U.S. Mint began its special production of the dual-dated 1776 1976 Bicentennial coins featuring Independence Hall, adding a note of transition to this specific issue's place in the series. The coin's design is a masterpiece of American numismatic art, featuring the left-facing profile of President John F. Kennedy on the obverse, created by chief sculptor-engraver Gilroy Roberts. The reverse, designed by assistant engraver Frank Gasparo, depicts the presidential seal, featuring a heraldic eagle with a shield, clutching an olive branch and arrows, and surrounded by 50 stars. What makes high-grade examples so visually special is the sharpness of these design elements. In pristine mint state MS, or proof, PR conditions, every feather detail on the eagle's wings, the lines of the shield, and the subtle textures of Kennedy's hair are fully defined. For proof coins, the distinction between cameo, CAM, and deep cameo, DCAM, is critical. These designations refer to the frosted, white appearance of the raised design elements that contrast dramatically against the mirror-like background fields, a feature highly prized by collectors. The rarity of the 1973 Kennedy half-dollar is almost exclusively a function of condition and errors, not of low mintage. The Philadelphia Mint struck nearly 65 million coins, the Denver Mint produced over 83 million, and the San Francisco Mint struck over 2.7 million proof specimens. Despite these massive numbers, coins surviving in the highest grades of preservation are exceptionally rare. For instance, while a circulated 1973 D half-dollar is common, one graded in a superb gem condition like MS-67 is a significant conditional rarity. The most extreme rarities are dramatic mint errors, such as the unique 1973 S-proof Kennedy half-dollar that was overstruck on a 1973 S Washington quarter, creating a breathtaking double denomination error. Certified as a proof 67 cameo, it stands as the only known example of a proof Kennedy half struck over another U.S. coin, placing it in a league of its own. The market value for these premium coins reflects their extreme scarcity. While a typical circulated piece is worth face value, record-breaking auction prices reveal a different market for top-tier examples. A 1973 Philadelphia issue graded MS-66 achieved a remarkable price of $6,600, demonstrating the exponential value placed on condition for this common issue. For proof coins, the quality of the cameo contrast is a major value driver. A perfect PR-70 deep cameo specimen sold for $4,888, highlighting the premium for flawless preservation and dramatic visual appeal. The unique 1973 S double denomination error coin, given its one-of-a-kind status, would command a value well into the five-figure range, easily surpassing the upper limits of your specified range and representing the absolute peak of value for this date. For collectors aiming to acquire a high-value 1973 Kennedy half, a meticulous and informed approach is essential. Prioritize certification from leading third-party grading services like PCGS or NGC, as their encapsulation authenticates the coin, verifies its mint state or proof status, and provides a reliable grade that is the industry standard for major auctions. When evaluating a coin, either in hand or through auction listings, focus on eye appeal. Seek out sharp strikes with full detail on Kennedy's hair and the eagle's breast, clean and mark-free surfaces, and for proof issues, a strong contrast between frosted devices and mirror fields. For the serious collector, participating in heritage auctions from firms like Heritage Auctions or Stack's Bowers provides access to vetted, high-value specimens that have realized the prices discussed. In conclusion, The 1973 Kennedy Half Dollar embodies a fascinating duality in coin collecting, where a mass-produced modern issue can transform into a numismatic treasure through the alchemy of pristine preservation and extraordinary minting anomalies. Its value, reaching up to $6,600 for a high-grade Philadelphia example, and potentially far beyond for unique errors, is a powerful testament to the collector principle of quality over quantity. For the numismatic enthusiast, pursuing such a coin offers not only a tangible piece of early 1970s American history, but also a sound investment in a certified asset whose rarity and desirability are assured for generations to come.